The injury reports are officially out, and West Virginia have got a few really concerning names on there.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia, baby. Well, we're just a couple days out from another Saturday of excellence, baby, with the Mountaineers possibly hitting the field. Well, they're definitely hitting the field against Kansas and the Jayhawks. Thank you guys for joining in as we do another episode. Of course, can't forget about the title sponsor for the episode, and we're very happy to talk about it as we're being represented by FanDuel. With FanDuel, guys, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Make sure you download the app today, Junior. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. We're not doing it alone. We ain't never doing it alone, man. I can't do nothing without my good old buddy, Jackson Johnson.
How you doing today, good buddy?
Oh, yeah. What do you say, Bob? Nah, pretty good, man. I appreciate your time. I'll be honest. I don't know if you know this or not, but there are a lot of the fans of the show that like you. So
wow.
I continue to bring you back on because I think you resonate with West Virginians. And I just want to thank you for your time and being available, man.
Oh, thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Yep. Okay, so in this first segment, what I like about Jackson too is he don't even need to know the plan. He just rip off of me. The injury reports came out yesterday, and last night I think, and some concerning names on there for West Virginia. Obviously, different levels of injury here. Obviously, you've got the obvious ones that are out with Jaheim White, Jaden Bray. A couple others like Julian Horton, Cooper Young, Cannon Katzer are going to be out, which stings. I hate to see Cannon Katzer hasn't played yet. Really had high hopes for Cannon and still do. I just wish he could get on the field. Jacob Barrick really got hit hard on a game in the Pitt game, in the game versus Pitt, where he caught a pass really late in the game. It was a big pass. And one of the things that we heard after the game was the wide receivers from West Virginia saying the thing about Pitt is they go for the legs. That's what they're taught. Their strike zone, every defensive back coach teaches it different, Jackson. Some teach you to go high, some teach you to go low, right?
Oof, yikes, my dude. Like going for the legs, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah, it does. And especially if you got your back to the defender and you make that catch, it can be rough, right? So unfortunately that happened to Jacob Barrick, and hoping it's going to be something he gets better from speedily, because he is a key contributor blocker on the edge for this squad, along with Xavier Bosley. It's nice to see him moved up to doubtful. I'm of the belief that he would be starting if it wasn't for this injury, whatever has plagued him since the off season. Just the truth, man. Shaq, can you take care of that, man? If he doesn't stop, listen, brother, you can come in here and talk, and we can have plenty. We can discuss a lot of stuff, but there's no reason to insult people, man. It has nothing to do with free speech. It's just behave yourself. Every program has it. His name's Eli. It should stay Holstein, but he's making a mockery of the last name. Anyway, we've got questionable here. Obviously, wide receiver Preston Fox, Chase Wilson, and Marshawn Oxley also. So these are three big ones. Marshawn Oxley started to come on last week. For whatever reason, he just got a weird personal foul called on him late in that game. Really frustrating, man. That wasn't a personal foul. Did you see the whole West Virginia game?
Oh yeah.
Did you see the one where we got the sack and they called it a what do they call it? Where he
Um,
didn't even touch him, and it was roughing the passer or
oh yeah, it's
targeting
like,
or whatever the hell it was with Marshawn Oxley. I can't remember now. Really frustrating to see that, but he's obviously on the injury report here as questionable. Chase Wilson, who is the quarterback of our defense, very important, obviously. I'm told, I have a little birdie told me that he's probably going to be okay to go. So just be expecting to see Chase unless there's a setback. Preston Fox is another questionable one, and I have no idea on his status. He is just stricken with the injury bug in his career so far. It sucks, man. He got tagged on a punt return where he was moving up, called for the fair catch. I don't know if he misjudged the flight of the ball or if he was purposely running into the player to keep them from downing it inside the 5, which is it's what it looked like happened, but I can't be sure. Basically, he called for the fair catch. The ball hit right behind him, and then he just ran right into somebody, and he's been hurt ever since. Makes me think that maybe he didn't do it on purpose because you would be able to brace for that and kind of be more you can calculate the hit a little bit easier rather than if you're going for a fair catch and somebody just hits you, that'd be easy to get hurt on that. And then obviously, oops, and it's gone. Of course, I accidentally hit the exit button on it instead of
you got me thinking about the South Park banker.
Yeah, that's where I got it from. I'm glad you got it.
It's gone. It's okay.
And then probable we have Ty Edwards and Derek Carter. So really big names on this list. Guys that I think could be major contributors. Obviously, Jaheim White, Jaden Brago without saying. So if we don't mention them going forward, you know why. But Jacob Barrick is a starter as a blocker at tight end. Xavier Bosley, I personally believe if he was healthy and had a full camp, would have won one of the 5 spots on the offensive line. I knew there was something to that. Why didn't he, early on I kept saying, why haven't Xavier Bosley been named? Then now we know why he's been injured. Preston Fox is your starting kick returner and one of the best in college football. He just doesn't drop them, and he also gets positive yardage on almost nothing. Chase Wilson has had an incredible start at linebacker to this season, and he got dinged up 2 weeks ago against Ohio and is still questionable. Marshawn Oxley came on last week as a bandit and got you a sack. That's a big deal. Ty Edwards obviously was the story of the backyard brawl, but you could tell he was hampered in that game. And then Derek Carter, yet another one of these Jacksonville State players who, let's just face it, brought the hard edge mentality to West Virginia. Is this a lot for West Virginia to overcome? I mean, let's just say a couple of these guys don't play. Do you think West Virginia already got their backs against the wall in this game, or do you think that West Virginia is headed in the right direction, Jackson? What is your thoughts on this?
Well, this hurts West Virginia a lot if you don't have a lot of your guys all set. And with Jalen Daniels 100% healthy for Kansas and getting those Jayhawks rocking and rolling, it's got me a little nervous for the Mountaineers, to tell you the truth.
It is nerve-wracking, especially if I'll just name a couple guys. I think you can live without Preston for a week. I would love to have him. He made a big catch for Nico in the backyard brawl early. Was it backyard brawl? I think it was. Maybe it was the week before against Ohio. But either way, as a punt returner, he's basically invaluable. Chase Wilson, you don't want to be without him. Our linebackers have played very well, but man, you really rather have him on the field. You can go without Oxley, although you don't want to have to. Jacob Barrick, you really need. Ty Edwards, you got to have him. Derek Carter is a depth piece. So there's 3 or 4 guys on here that impact the team if you don't have them. So we'll definitely consider, I think Ty Edwards is going to go. I mean, just personally, he's in his senior year. He's got to – I feel like he's going to push himself to play, but we'll see. On the Kansas side of things, they've got quite a few guys out. Running back Jack Schneider, tight end Conley Hovey, offensive lineman David Abajain, defensive lineman Jason Strickland, defensive end Dylan Brooks, who's a good player, and quarterback Jameer Moore. Cole Mondi, who's another good player, is questionable. Probable, you've got Daniel Highshaw, the starting running back, who's been there for freaking 5 years. Jaden Nickens, who's a good player. Defensive end Dacius Brinkley is another one. One of their biggest portal acquisitions. This is their version of a Jamori Robinson, sort of, and Joseph Sipp Jr. Joseph Sipp Jr. was beating out, from what I was told from people over in the Kansas side of things. He was beaten out. He was basically the best linebacker on the team. So until he got hurt earlier on, Logan Brantley, linebacker, Darian Jones, a safety, and Taylor Davis, another safety. So Kansas is out quite a few guys as well, no doubt about it. But yeah, Joseph Sipp Jr. even had Trey Lathan beat out. So, he's that big time of a player for them. So if they get him back, this could absolutely be a big boom for the Jayhawks, Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Joseph Sipp was a all-MAC linebacker. All-MAC. So good player. Good player. Let's go to break. We'll talk more about that, but Jackson's got some players to watch for KU that we need to know about.
I just wonder what goodies we'll get from the ads. I'm curious. Fourth wall break, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll be right back. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by our friends at DoorDash. Look, with DoorDash, it's time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more money every time you order, these players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. For West Virginia, obviously Ty Edwards delivered in a big way. I mean, the 144 yards, the 3 touchdowns, the breakout the performance, John Gruden calling it out. When the pressure was on, Ty Edwards came through, no hesitation, no delay. And if you've been watching all week, this performance wasn't a fluke. I think he's going to continue to be on a streak. And just like Ty Edwards delivered for West Virginia, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays with DoorDash Streaks, where you save every time you order. Stack it up all season, and you can save up to $250 and including 100 in DoorDash credits if you order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash, where the terms apply. Promo code through 11/18. And, of course, we can't forget our friends, and we have quite a few different friends, obviously, but what would we be without FanDuel? Right now with FanDuel, guys, we have to be honest. They are crushing it for you guys right now. The NFL season almost here, or it's here. FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with the can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, make you holla, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. That's if you win that first $5 bet. Look, it's quick. It's easy. Best way to add a little energy to your Sundays, and you'll be jacked up on Mountain Dew just like Jackson. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app today by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. It's segment 2. Let's crack open a do with Jackson Johnson as he dives into players to watch Kansas edition. And go.
Oh, man. I got to tell you, Emmanuel Henderson, he's a guy to look out for on offense. Daniel Hishall, that's going to be a guy to look out for. And, Deshaun Hanukkah, the tight end from Iowa State, who transferred from Iowa State to Kansas, that's going to be a good one right there. That Kansas offense, I swear to you, it's loaded all over the place. It's just like the receiving core, the passing game, it's just nuts. It's completely nuts. Cam Pickett, that's another guy to look out for. I mean, they've added so many guys from the portal this season. It's nuts. They're nuts.
And you look at Kansas, they put up 31 against Fresno State. They put up 46 against Wagner, and then another 31 against a pretty good Missouri team where they were ahead early in that game, 21-6, and then Missouri rallies in that game to really come on strong. You know, Deshaun Hanukkah, who you were talking about a minute ago, 6 catches, 74 yards, 2 touchdowns in the game versus Missouri. Definitely a threat to stretch the field vertically from the tight end spot down the seams. Manuel Henderson Jr., another guy you mentioned, definitely played a factor in the game. Daniel Highshaw Jr. got hurt early in the game, 6 carries for 11 yards. He is their best running back, or their hardest running back. Obviously, Trey Lathan, I think, is another player you look at with Kansas. You know, he's been the best player on their defense so far this year. I'm really interested to see.
Oh, man. He's led the team in tackles with 25 tackles. Like, that's nuts.
Yeah.
It's like you would not see that kind of number from a Kansas defensive player 10 years ago, but with Lance Leipold, you are seeing those boys get rocking and rolling.
They are. I've said it multiple times, Jackson. You saw Les Miles take over Kansas. You saw Charlie Weiss take over Kansas. You saw all these coaches that had all these accolades in other walks of life. Charlie Weiss, Super Bowl, Patriots. Les Miles, national championship, LSU. None of these guys could do anything at Kansas. All of a sudden, Lance Leipold walks in from Wisconsin Whitewater and flips this thing around into, dare I say, they're competitive and you know, reaching towards potential Big 12 championship if everything falls right for them. I think Missouri's a good football team. I wouldn't judge Kansas too harshly for the loss, although, I mean, look, you know, it was on the road against an SEC team that has a really good quarterback in Pribula. Pribula was somebody I was hoping West Virginia would go after from Penn State in the portal, but, you know, obviously Missouri, a good landing spot for him. So it's going to be an interesting game, man. I want to say, you know, one of the things about this game for me, Jackson, is the spread on this game. What do you think about this thing being 13.5 points for Kansas?
I feel like at the moment I see Kansas winning this one, unfortunately, but I don't think they beat the spread against West Virginia. I mean, it's not like you're seeing Charlie Weiss coach at West Virginia, because, like, again, did the odds makers forget that this is the second stint of the Rich Rod era? I think
they must have forgot.
I think they forgot. I think the spread was definitely writing a typo. Like, whoever was making the odds, it was like, okay,
it's weird. 13.5 points is just a ton for a team that's lost. The only thing, and I mentioned this on another show, do you think, Jackson, the fact that West Virginia went to overtime versus Pitt, it was the biggest rivalry game there in 20 years, 18 years. You know, it went in overtime. Everybody had all their energy into that one game. Do you think it's possible that West Virginia lost Ohio because of that game? And do you think it might flood over into Kansas as well? Could the Pitt win cost West Virginia 2 losses?
That I could see. I could see that. But I do see West Virginia get back up against Utah. Like, they'll definitely bring their A game against Utah that week, because Utah is coming off a big game against Texas Tech, and they're going to be a little emotionally high strung regardless, win or lose, against West Virginia.
On the same token, though, this is Rich Rodriguez we're talking about here, and literally a master motivator. You know, is he going to will this team to a win? Is he going to let them forget that, you know, if we know that after emotional games there's sometimes a letdown, they probably know too, right? I mean, it's not like they're dumb. Are there things you can do as a coach to prevent that? I would love to know the answer. I would love to know, when you're a coach, you know, and I would, next time I have a coach on, that'd be a great question for me to ask. I might write that down because I have coaches on time every now and then. You know, I would say, if I were a coach, to prevent the letdown, first of all, I would make sure my team got a day of rest before the next game, even though it probably feels like you're right back to it. I would probably give him a day off to kind of sleep and just get recharged a little. I'm assuming that's got to be one thing. Another thing would be maybe don't hit as much that week. Then again, maybe it means you need to hit more. I mean, I'm just now throwing things out there. If it was at home versus Kansas, I would think, you know, the spread would be closer. But 13.5 still blows me away. If you told me 7.5, 8, maybe,
Yeah.
I could buy it. But 13.5, 2 scores. I mean, maybe it ends up being that. Maybe it ends up being that. But I think that they're vastly underestimating this West Virginia defense. I really do.
Yeah,
So,
they are.
did you have some stats on the year written down?
Well, there was one other guy that I've got on defense for everybody to watch out for from Kansas, Leroy Harris III,
Yeah.
who is second in the Big 12 with 3.5 sacks.
I'm glad you mentioned that. They've got a really active defensive front. And this comes into play where obviously Nico's probably going to start the game. So I would imagine Kansas is going to be keying on Ty Edwards or whoever it is, forcing West Virginia in the second, third, and long passing situations. And then you unleash a guy like Leroy, right? Big, bad Leroy Brown, the baddest man in the whole damn town. You know, something like that.
Man or in a junkyard dog.
Yep. That's it. That's a what you say, bub moment of the day right there. Like, we might start doing that. We might have a what you say, bub moment of the day from here on. Let me know in the comments if you want a what you say, bub moment of the day. We might do that. Let's lean into our West Virginia all the way. I mean, we might as well. My family calls me Bub. I don't have a first name to them. They call me Bub. Hey, Bub, what are you doing? Hey, Bub, come here. What you say, Bub? Hey, Bub, what you say, Bub? Let's go to break. Before we break into more degeneracy with Jackson Johnson right after break. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to our friends, if I can get the right screen here, brought to you by our friends over at Mazda. Mazda. We like talking about Mazda here on the show for multiple reasons. Jackson likes Mazda as well, and that's cool. Listen, Mazda delivers confidence with every ride. With more IIHS Top Safety Picks awards than anybody else as of August anyway, in 2025. From footwork to breath work, athletes sweat all the details, right? Well, Mazda brings the same intention to how we craft every model. You can feel the Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Do it today at Mazda. Move and be moved. We are back here with Jackson Johnson, the man, the myth, the legend. Where can they find you?
Oh, man, they can find me on Jackson Johnson 979 on YouTube, where I've got some episodes of the Jacksonian and some episodes of Pits Analysis and the Final Whistle with Sports Talk with Austin. And they can find me on Alabama at the Voice College Football, including tonight's edition of the College Show, where it's the 50th edition, where I only talk sports and I take your calls on the Alabama Crimson Tide on Alabama at the Voice College Football tonight.
Cool.
Stay tuned for more.
Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that a lot. You know, a couple other thoughts on this game, and I mean, really kind of, we'll move on. I think West Virginia is going to win this game. I really thought about it all week. In an earlier podcast, I picked against West Virginia 30-27. As long as Ty Edwards plays, as long as Chase Wilson plays, I feel really good about it. If we have those injuries, if they end up being out or if anything that I'm not suspecting, we're full strength. I think we can win this football game. I've thought about it a lot this week. I've asked myself over and over, am I being a homer? Am I being a homer? I really feel after that Pitt performance that we can win this game. I just have to trust Rich Rod to keep them up. Maybe we lose because of the Pitt game, or maybe Kansas is just better. They should be. But, I mean, if we win this game, you're going to hear me talking about West Virginia for maybe 7 or 8 wins instead of bowl eligibility like earlier. So it's going to be interesting to see. Jackson, let's go around the Big 12 here, man. Here, I guess the way we'll do this is I'll let you announce the games. We'll give commentary on it.
Well, here we go. So we start off with Friday between the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes against the Oklahoma State Cowboys on Friday night on ESPN.
That's going to be an interesting game. Obviously, a battle of 2 1-2 teams. I have to think Mike Gundy rights the ship in this game. He better, or he might be fired midseason.
Oh, yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Oklahoma State, they have nowhere to go but up. But I feel like this is just going to be a sloppy game. I think it's going to be a 28-10 victory by the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Okay. What's next?
Well, we got Texas Tech going to Utah on big noon kickoff. I mean, this is going to be the moment where it's put up or shut up time for the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. This is a tough one, man. Obviously, Texas Tech has the 40, 50, 60, whatever it is, $1 million roster. Utah is built tough, very similar to West Virginia in those ways, as far as them being a top team. You know, they really run it well. They've got a great offensive line. This is a tough one. Where are you leaning on this?
Honestly, I'm leaning towards Utah for this one.
Interesting. Well, I mean, if you look at Utah, they destroyed UCLA, but so is everybody. They destroyed Cal Poly, but so is everybody. You know, if you look at what they did in Laramie, they struggled for 3 quarters in that game before they finally scored 28 points in the last quarter and a half. They finally wore them down. You know,
you look back at Texas Tech. I mean, they destroyed Arkansas Pine Bluff, but I mean, you're supposed to. They destroyed Kent State, but you're supposed to. They destroyed Oregon State last week, but so did Cal. So it's like we can't really judge either one of these teams too much by their non-con slate. We can basically judge these teams based off of how they perform on big noon kickoff on Saturday afterwards.
It's gonna set the hierarchy of the Big 12. Maybe it's a close game and they're 1-2 after the game, or maybe we find out a lot about whoever. I think Texas Tech has a lot of really good athletes. I think it's really a lot of this is going to depend on Texas Tech's defense. If Texas Tech can get stops in this game, I think they have the offense to score on a Utah. If Utah struggles like they did for a half against Wyoming, I think Texas Tech can win this football game. But Kyle Whittingham seems to have it turned around. When you look at the coaches, clearly Kyle Whittingham is a better coach than Joey McGuire to this point. Maybe Joey McGuire turns a corner this year. He's had a couple supposed to be good teams in Lubbock. Hasn't worked out yet. So the game of the week in the Big 12, I'm going to give to Utah as well.
Oh, yeah. Utah.
What we got next?
Oh, we got the SMU-TC rivalry for potentially the final time. And let's just say I am sobbing like a baby and eating ice cream while watching this game. But in all seriousness, though, I am going to enjoy this because even though TCU is a 6.5-point favorite, I feel like they're underestimating SMU a little too much in this one. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, SMU's a good football team. I mean, listen, they lost a really close game at the very last second to a very talented Baylor team. The only reason I think TCU is favored here is because they're home. It's going to be a battle of 2 really good quarterbacks with Hoover and Jennings. 2 really high-powered offenses. This is an SMU team that won 11 games last year. And here's the other thing that you got to factor in here. There was already a rivalry here because of the DFF area connection. But you got to throw in the little extra oomph that Sonny Dykes coached SMU before he went to TCU.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of hatred there between them. There's a reason this game isn't going on past this year. And there's a lot of just hurt feelings, and I don't know the whole story, but
they could bring it back as early as 2027 because I've looked at the schedule openings. They could.
They're not doing it. Yeah, they're not. They're just not doing it. Like I've got people. I know two guys. One guy really well that on the TC side of things. It says it's just Sonny Dykes is just he doesn't want anything to do with him over there. So
I mean,
I don't know what happened. I don't know if there was like something litigious that one of them did after the fact, but this seems to be a hurt feelings type scenario. Hoping West Virginia Pitt never gets to this level, but
no.
I'm gonna go with SMU to pull this thing out on the road. I think they're a better football team than people think, and I want TCU to win, but
I think SMU's going to win this one. It's going to be a 42-38 victory, high scoring game. But I will say one of the best games of that rivalry is 1935, where SMU TC were playing for a spot in the granddaddy of them all, where SMU was winning 20-14, and that game was basically 4 years before Don Duck went from the white hat to the blue hat.
Oh, wow. On like if you ever watch on like just clips online where they'll make the little noise when they blink, like ding ding. That's what I just did when you did that. Whenever I blinked, it would have went bing bing. And there is your way say bud moment of the day. And that's how Mel Gibson came up with the Passion of the Christ. Obviously UNC UCF is the next game. Is that the next one?
And it's on Fox, 2:30 p.m. Central Time, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Who's on the call?
Oh man, it's so bad. Honestly, like Central Florida, I'm not sure where they're at in the second stint of the Scott Frost era, but I'm definitely not sure of where Bill Belichick is going with North Carolina. I think he was just like, screw it, I'll take any other coaching gig I can get.
Well, I mean, they beat the hell out of the North Carolina area Charlotte and Richmond teams.
Yeah, but you're supposed to.
Obviously TCU absolutely destroyed them in week 1. That's probably not fair for them in their first game against a really good TCU squad. I like UCF in this game. I like them by 10 points.
I got Central Florida win this one. It's going to be a 24-21 victory.
Yeah.
I literally had to flip a coin for that one.
And I'll tell you what, UCF had that first game they played against Jackson State was a tough game. That was only a 7-point game. Taven Jackson's a name you need to know about though if you want to watch Central Florida. He's just an absolute dog at quarterback for them. Really good player. Keep an eye on him.
And Eric Collins and Spencer Tillman are calling that game.
I like Spencer Tillman. All right, what we got next?
Well, we've got Arizona State. Well, we're going to go with Arizona State Baylor, but we'll save West Virginia for last, of course. Arizona State Baylor, that's going to be a good one. And we get to see Tim Brando on the call for Arizona State Baylor. Paul logged down for a moment, but he clicked the wrong button, but he'll be right back. Arizona State Baylor, that's going to be a good one right there. And it's going to be a teller of all signs for the Big 12. You talk about Texas Tech, Utah being a teller of all signs for the Big 12. Arizona State Baylor, whoever wins that game is going to be in great signs for the long term for 2025.
Yeah, I agree. Probably two of the most talented quarterbacks in the league. I would say, right? I mean, how can you get much better than these two quarterbacks, right?
Oh,
I mean,
great.
I'm a big Sawyer Robinson guy. he's really, I think he might lead the country in passing as of right now. At least he was last week. Arizona State lost a heartbreaker. Baylor's they both lost heartbreakers this year. They really have.
Robinson trails Steve Anglai by 2 yards.
Yeah,
for passing yards in the nation. Like, ooh.
This is where we thought Sam Levitt was going to be, right? Obviously Raleigh Brown, Jordan Tyson, like they're loaded on offense. I would say, if you're going to hold my feet to the fire, I'm going to have to go with Arizona State in this game to win. I like BYU. I like Baylor, but I just don't trust Dave Aranda to win a big game yet. He hasn't proven it outside of his first year.
Well, I've got a little more trust in Aranda in this case because, after what I saw against SMU in week 2 and the fact that they outgained Auburn in total yards, despite the fact they lost to Auburn. Total yards on offense, mind you, losing by 2 possessions. And Sawyer Robinson being second in the nation in passing yards. And this game being a home game, I trust the Baylor Bears to get this done. I think it's going to be a 42-38 victory over Arizona State.
High scoring, old school Big 12, huh?
Yep. Let's go.
Oh, God. All right, what we got next?
Oh, we got BYU East Carolina on Saturday night. That looks like a trap game all over the place for BYU.
It's a tricky game. Listen, we played East Carolina for years in Morgantown, and they gave us all we wanted in multiple different seasons. The thing about East Carolina is, there's a few things about them, but they've got one of the toughest stadiums to play in for a group of 5 in the country. I think they're 50,000 or something in there. Like, that's a big stadium for a group of 5. We're running over on time, so we'll have to speed this up a little bit. But I'm going to say Bear Bachmeyer and company get it done.
Oh, yeah. BYU's going to win this one 28-17.
I think it'll be 28-7.
My mistake. Yeah.
I think the BYU's defense is going to smother the hell out of them.
Oh, great. And we got Colorado, Wyoming. And then we'll save the best for last. Colorado, Wyoming.
I'm going to go
Colorado spanking Wyoming.
I'm going to go with Wyoming to pull the upset.
Ooh. Panic time in Boulder if that happens.
We'll see what happens. Ooh. I think they'll get the upset.
The road to upset on the road. And finally, we've got West Virginia, Kansas, the best for last. That's going to be a great one right there. I'll be pulling for West Virginia, but reluctantly I go with Kansas in a 31-24 victory. That offense of Kansas is too high-powered for me, man.
I think you're underestimating our West Virginia defense. We lead the country or the Big 12 in sacks. We're top 3 in the country in sacks. And we just added what most people would consider the best pass rusher in the portal outside of David Bailey and Jamoy Robinson to that pass rush. If they can get to the quarterback in this game, namely Jalen Daniels, then we're talking. But that we got to the quarterback against Ohio, and we just couldn't get him on the ground because he was so slippery. So we'll see how that looks in this one. Big upgrade with Jamoy Robinson at linebacker. You're talking about Curtis Jones on one side, Jamoy Robinson on the other potentially. It's an insane combination. Or Braden Siders on one side, or you've got Braden Siders, Devin Grant, and Jamoy Robinson on the field at the same time, or Curtis Jones. You could have Curtis Jones, Braden Siders, Jamoy Robinson, all these guys on the field, Devin Grant on this, Marshawn Oxley. Like, there's literally, I said it in the offseason, we're going to have 4 or 5 guys that can rush the passer. I've been proven to be right. I'm going to go find that audio because I said it multiple times during the offseason. I felt like we were going to have an elite pass rush. And it's about time for me another I was right video because I was right about the pass rush. I do think Jamoy Robinson takes snaps from guys. I don't know if it'll be this week yet. I think it might take a week or two unless he's just amazing right off the rip. But he can't be the only reason we win this game. West Virginia has to be able to score. That's the real question in this one, Jackson. West Virginia has questions on offense. The offensive line is not elite. It's not even average a lot of the time. Ty Edwards made up for a lot of that last week in a rivalry game where we were home, had a lot of emotion. We'll see. I think West Virginia is going to figure out a way to win this game. And I'm going to say it wins at 27-24 on the road. Field goal to end the game.
All right.
All right, guys. We appreciate you for being in here. We'll be live later on. Be an absolute blast. I seen a question in the comment section that I will address before we go. From David McIntyre, do you think they will bring Jamori Robinson to spy on Daniels most of the game? I don't know if I would use Jamori for that. I think he's definitely fast. I don't know if he is Jalen Daniels quick, though. Short area of speed quick. I would say if I were going to spy him, I might use a Fred Perry instead. A guy that's close to the line of scrimmage. He's playing the nickel spot already. He may be a better option because he can stick with him if he tries to wiggle around and get out of there. But I'm not saying Jamori Robinson can't do it either. Chase Wilson, maybe, although I don't know, even he would have trouble sticking with a Jalen Daniels who is fast. But I would probably go with Fred Perry personally. But, depends on how you're going to bracket it, obviously. Like West Virginia last week, here's how smart, and then we got to go. Here's how smart Zach Alley is. They knew, 100% knew. They even said it in the press conference afterward. If you slant like this and if you do certain things to Eli Holstein, it gets him confused, and he'll try to run out of the pocket. So they slant Braden Siders down inside, knowing that Eli Holstein's going to break the pocket to his right because he's obviously loves to move to his right. And Braden Siders literally spun out knowing he was going to be there because that's what they taught him throughout the week. We've got a defensive coordinator that, like I said, we paid him almost $2 million to leave Oklahoma for a reason. And then you couple the fact that Brett Venables, one of the greatest defensive coordinators of all time, said, I want him to call my plays. That's how good Zach Alley is. So don't underestimate Zach Alley. He is our superpower for this year. We'll see how long it lasts. Hopefully we can keep him. But we will need to spy Jalen Daniels at some point, David. Thanks for the question. All right, guys, we're going to jump out. Thanks for Jackson for being here. Locked On, or I always say Locked On, don't I? Voice of College Football Alabama and the Jacksonian. He also does a bunch of other stuff, but you can find him there as he is a bleeding heart when it comes to college football. We love it, and we love you guys. See you guys on the next one. Don't forget, guys, Locked On College Football has made a partnership with Fire TV to present College Football Kickoff, which is your ultimate college football weekly preview, where Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson and former college star Jesse Hawley, along with Locked On's local experts. It's a college football preview show only Locked On can do. Do me a favor and catch college football every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. For Jackson, for me, we're out of here. Q Country Roads.